Why, hello, friends. I am here in our classroom and I'm going to do our hello video for this week's Padlet and virtual activities. Behind me is one of our anchor charts that I made us this week. I'm going to turn it around so you can see it. Okay, author's purpose. We learned about author's purpose this week, and we learned about why it is as easy as pie to remember. And we know that author's purpose means the reason the author wrote something. Okay, they have a reason why they write it. They do it with purpose. And it's one of these purposes. It's either to persuade the readers of something, it's to inform the readers of something, or to entertain the readers of something. And then we know that in order to find this out, we can look at the genre and we can ask questions about what we've read to find out why the author wrote this story. Today we're going to focus on informing. The book I'm going to read you today, the author gives us facts and information topic. And I told some of you that this week on Wednesday, I went to a special B class with my son Ryder. He is 8 and he loves science and anything like that, like a lot of kids do. He likes those things that, are kind of like learning and trying to find out ways to be something new. And so we went to a beekeeping class, actually. And the beekeeping class taught us how to extract the honey out of the beehive. So this week, I thought it was a good idea to read you a book. I'm going to set this up so I can read it. To read you a book about bees. And this book is called Bee Dance. So like I said, the author, which is Rick, and a very long last name I don't think I can say, but I'm going to try it. Krustwoski. That's a weird name. He is writing this story to inform us about bees and about what they do when they're creating the honey, when they're making the honey for their hive. So I'm going to read you this story today. Bee Dance. When sunlight warms your honeybee wings, off you go on flower patrol. And right here is actually exactly what me and Ryder saw when we went to the bee class. They had their beehives, and they showed us how they man-made them so that it works the best for the bees. Follow a sweet scent floating on air to find a honeybee gold mine. So they're looking for the honeybees, and they follow the scent of the flower. A prairie bloom. So when they get to a big flower garden, sometimes you might see a flower garden or even like a big field of wildflowers. That is like a gold mine to these bees who are going to try to find pollen and sip sugary nectar with their bendy straw tongue. Yum. Shows the bee on there, getting the nectar out. Race home. So this is their home, and that's what we were learning at our bee class, that they think this is home, so they keep this very safe because this is where they go to make all their honey, and they're there most of the time when they're not out getting honey, that they're in that box. Climb the beeswax comb. Excitement buzzes all around. The other bees know that you have news. We saw this too. There's wooden boxes and then wooden I don't know what they call them, like little things that slide in there, and they make all these combs and they fill them with the honey, and then they cap them off with wax so that the honey doesn't run all around. So when they pull those out, the beekeepers have to take a tool and they have to shave off the wax, and then the honey comes oozing out. So once they shave that wax off, that wax is really good too and can be used for lots of things. And one thing it can be used for is something I bought, and it is a lip balm. And beeswax lip balm is very good for your lips when they're in the winter, when they get really chapped and dry. The bees wax is really good for that, healing that. Do the waggle dance, honeybee. Make a figure 8. Twirl in a circle. Wag your body up the middle run. Then twirl around the other side. Buzz, buzz, buzz. So they're telling you the way they make that honey. It almost looks like they're dancing. Waggle faster, honeybee, buzz louder. Your dance points the way to the prairie. How long you waggle your body tells the others how far to go. It also is giving the other bees direction on where did you get all that nectar. So that's how they tell their their other bees inside that hive is where to go. Now the bees know just where to fly. So they're swarming out. They're going to go find more nectar to come back and make more honey. Soon they see flowers reaching toward the sky. It's kind of a cool picture. Go to work, forager bees. Collect nectar to make honey. Stuff pollen into baskets on your hind legs. So this shows how they bring the nectar and the pollen back to the hive to turn it into honey. And it's showing you that they stuff it in their back legs like that, and they carry it like that while they fly back to the beehives. Stay out late. Carry your heavy prize back to the hive. The last glow of sunset lights the way home. So they go work all day getting honey, and then getting the nectar, and then they come back and they work all night turning it into honey inside that box. Unload your cargo and store it in the combs, then settle in for the night. When you wake up, warm your honeybee wings in the morning sun and dance the prairie jitterbug once again. So they wake up in the morning, they do it all again. And here is some facts about bees. Why do honeybees dance? Honeybees have an amazing way to communicate with one another that is unique in the animal world. They perform a dance that indicates the direction and distance to a rich food source. When a scout honeybee finds a good batch of flowers, she zips back to the hive to tell the other forager bees where she found it. She climbs the beeswax comb inside the hive, then dances in a figure 8 motion. The waggle run, the straight part between the two circles, shows the angle the food lies relative to the sun direction. If you waggle and run, move up the comb, she is telling them to fly toward the sun in the direction of the angle. If the waggle run moves down the comb, the other bees know to fly away from the sun. So here's a picture to show you what they're talking about. See how it makes that figure 8? It looks like an 8. The way she flies is telling them where to fly compared to the sun. And then there's these dotted lines that show the route that they should take. That's pretty cool. Who would have thought these bees were that smart, huh? The dancing bee can tell the other bees exactly how far by how long she waggles her body. So not only is she telling them what direction, but she's telling them how far it is. Each second of waggling stands for a particular distance. For example, if 1 second of waggling equals 3,000 feet, then the bee waggles her body for 5 seconds for the waggle run. She is telling the forager bees to fly 15,000 feet or just under 3 miles away from the hive. During the dance, the bee will pause and give samples of nectar she gathered to the other bees. They can also smell with their antennae the sweet scent of flowers she visited on her body. If the dancing bee buzzes loudly and performs the dance vigorously, the other bees become excited too. They know it is a particularly rich food source, like a prairie in full bloom. Even though there can be up to 50,000 bees in a hive, it is an orderly place. Each bee has a specific task to perform. It's kind of like our school. We talked about that last week, or a couple weeks ago, first week of school, how if we all work together, it's kind of like a little mini community that we have here in our classroom and in our school. And if everybody does their own jobs, it works way smoothly and it runs way smoothly. That's kind of how the beehive works. Okay, so even though there's a lot of bees in there, they all have a job to do. And if they all do their job, it helps the results. And the results are to have lots of honey when it's time to have honey. Okay? Even though there can be, there is one queen bee. Who's the queen bee in our classroom, boys and girls? Be thinking about that. I think her name might start with a Mrs. Anyways, I'm not really a queen, but I like to think I am in the classroom. Okay, she lays the eggs. There are thousands of worker bees. They care for young bees, clean and guard the hive, build the combs, scout for new food sources, and forage for nectar and pollen. At certain times of the year, drones or male bees are produced to mate with queens from other hives. Okay, so this person who wrote this book said her father was a beekeeper. So she wrote it for her father that's a beekeeper and all the beekeepers around the world. So this book was called Bee Dance. Okay, so that was a great story that our author wrote us to inform us of something. They were informing us of the process the bees go through to find prairie flowers and find nectar to create honey. Okay, and they taught us about the dance that they do. Just a reminder to you that I handed out a green folder on Thursday, and if you are an A student, you'll be getting this green folder on Monday when you come. This green folder is going to be your homework only folder, which means you do not have to empty it out and leave anything at home, okay? Anything that's in that folder will need to be done and brought back to school. So if I were you, I would just leave my stuff in there, and like I told the class on Thursday, you have a not finished and a finished side. The not finished or needs finished, you'll just leave it there until you do it. And when you do it, you'll move it over to the other side. And then when you bring it to school, even if there's some things in there that aren't finished yet, you're gonna hand in your whole folder. Mrs. Douglas will look at it. I'll pull out the stuff that's done, I'll check it, and I'll put it back in your mail slot, and then the whole folder will go back home with you. So you don't have to worry about losing those papers while you turn it in. Just keep it in that folder, and it'll help keep everything organized and safe. We had a great full week of learning, and I am so proud of you guys. Some of you guys came to school and you were so focused. You blew me away this week at how great we got through everything. So I want you just to take this weekend to relax a little bit. And if you aren't watching this until next week, that's fine. Come to school again next week, ready to learn and smile and have fun. And it'll be another great week. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Bye.